Shalom, Israel. My name is Officer Kayadwan out of I.S.U.P.K, Jamaica. I.S.U.P.K started 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. I.S.U.P.K is run by Commanding General Yahanna, the one man with the rank and the authority to lead Israel at this time. I say, Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Barakatam to my brothers. Yahweh Shamar Alatan, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai to my sisters. All right, so many of you are getting ready to celebrate the New Year's. You know what I mean? Here in Jamaica, we have the waterfront fireworks, you know what I mean, and fireworks in many different places. I don't know if them are going to have that this year due to, you know what I mean, the COVID restrictions, but, you know what I mean, that is what we normally do here in Jamaica. But, you know what I mean, in celebrating New Year's, you know what I mean, it might seem innocent, you know, but in reality, you are really, you know what I mean, practicing idolatry by celebrating this new year. You understand? Of January, which comes from the name of the Roman god Janus. You understand? Which we are going to read about it shortly. So may I say? So we have to go hard at them thing, you know, Christmas, you know what I mean, New Year's, Valentine days, because we know that, you know what I mean, it is a sin against the Most High to worship other gods. And you might say, well, we are not worshiping other gods, we are just celebrating the New Year's, right? All right. There is no such thing as you not, you know what I mean, worshiping that God, that idol, by you going into the ordinances of, you know what I mean, of what is it means to celebrate that God. You know what I mean? You go into firework, or you know what I mean, you putting yourself in the spirit of that, you know what I mean, the practice of that deity is you worshiping that deity. You understand? So if you know what I mean, if you have a feast on Christmas Day because it is Christmas Day, you know what I mean, that is one of the ordinances that, you know what I mean, they do to worship that God. So if you cook a feast on Christmas Day because it is Christmas Day, you are worshiping the God Nimrod. And if you do the same thing on New Year's Day, and if you go to fireworks and have family get together, or you go to church, you know what I mean, for New Year's Day, you know what I mean, when them call it watch night, you know what I mean, you are serving the God Janus, because that is what they do in serving Janus. So like my brother Abada once said in last night class, you know what I mean, if you're in a car and the car is going east, you know what I mean, if you don't want to go east, you can't be in that car. The car is going east, and that is where you're heading because you're in that car. So you can't claim, say, boy, you're not celebrate New Year's or you're not worship Janus, but you're still celebrating New Year's. You get what I say? And that is not the real New Year's. You understand? So we're going into the history of where Janus come from. You know what I mean? In the meaning, like the video. In the meantime, like the video. You know what I mean? I know I probably lose half a hour already. You know what I mean? That's the thing on. Everybody want to hear the truth, but you know the thing already. You know what I mean? So we have to read about Janus. You know what I mean? The Roman god of beginnings. And that is where you get the celebration of the New Year's from, because it is all about beginnings. You know what I mean? All about New Year's resolution and where you have to change and, you know what I mean, starting a new year. When, you know what I mean, when our people just become worse every year by following the you know what I mean, the ordinances of these Eden customs. You understand? So we're going to read about Janus. And it says, the 1st of January was dedicated by the Romans to their god of gates and doors, Janus. A very old Italian god, Janus has a distinctive artistic appearance in that he has a commonly depicted in that he is commonly depicted with two faces, one regarding what is behind and the other looking towards what lies ahead. You know what I mean? So you might say, boy, me not bow down to this two-faced God. Me never see it before. You know have to see it. You know what I mean? Just know, say, boy, you know what I mean? It is the celebration of it, you know what I mean? And the people who establish the day as being, you know what I mean, dedicated to Janus, they know. You not have to know. You just have to participate. You just have to be a passenger in that vehicle. You know what I mean? Continue reading. Thus, Janus is representative of contemplation and the happenings of an old year while looking forward to the new. Some sources claim that Janus was characterized in such a peculiar fashion due to the notion that doors and gates look in two different directions, right? In two directions, right? Therefore, the God could look both backward and forward at the same time, talking about looking back to the year that was past and looking forward to the year that to come. Originally, Janus was portrayed with one bearded face and the other clean shaved, which may have symbolized the moon and the sun, or age and youth. Later, he is most often shown with beard on both faces and frequently holds a key in his right hand. Very early statues of Janus around the 2nd century BC depict him with 4 faces. You know what I mean? So statues were created of Janus, in which are idols. And we're going to jump into some scripture shortly to show you that the Most High don't condone. As a matter of fact, the Most High speak against creating any statues, any image of a God and bowing down to it. You understand? You might say, well, we are not bowing down to those, you know what I mean, no statue. But the people who gave you the New Year celebration in January are Janus. They do. They reverence these statues. And who is that? They are the Romans. You know what I mean? No, they are the Roman Catholic Church. You understand? Let me continue reading. 2nd paragraph. In his role as the guardian of exits and entrance, Janus was also believed to represent beginnings. The explanation for this belief being that one must emerge through a door or gate in order to enter into a new place. Therefore, the Roman also considered Janus as the god of beginnings, and his name was an obvious choice for the first month of their year. Because that is not the, you know what I mean, the first month of the Most High year. The first month of the Most High year is the month where the Passover is. Continue reading. A month referred to by the ancient Romans as Iannurius, which is not so far removed from the modern day January. So January is Janus Day, basically. You know what I mean? Or Iannurius. That is what the Romans call it. Taken from the Etruscan word Joanna, which means door. You know what I mean? Which is the reason why they put January at the front of every year, because January means door. It's like an opening into whatever they, you know what I mean, they're giving you. You understand? Originally, however, Janus was honored on the first day of every month, in addition to being worshipped at the beginning of planting season, again at the harvest. Difference was also paid to him at the most important beginning of life of an individual, such as birth and marriage. So you also worship, you know what I mean, Janus, when you celebrate your birthday. You understand? All right. So we just show you what that is all about. It is good to know these things, you know, so that, you know what I mean, you don't be at the wrong side of the Most High, because the Most High forbids the children of Israel who are, you know what I mean, who are here in Jamaica. You know what I mean? One of the tribes are here in Jamaica. You know what I mean? The tribe of Benjamin. You know what I mean? The Most High, you know what I mean? The Most High said we should not celebrate, you know what I mean, these holidays. All right, let me just jump to the scripture that make you know that the Most High forbid these things. And just to tell you that your Christian church is doing you no good, because all these idolatrous religions, your Christian church celebrate them Christmas, Easter, Valentine's Day, you know what I mean? Janus Day, which is watch night. The Christian church, that's why we say, you know, the Christian church is a package of all different type of idolatry, all different type of idols. You know what I mean? The Christian church pretends to be, you know what I mean, the religion based off of the Bible, you know what I mean, or pretends to be a religion based off of the Bible, you know what I mean, which we know the Bible speak about one God, you know what I mean, but the Christian church, you know what I mean, have packaged within that religion the worship of so many different gods, which, you know what I mean, by worshiping in Christianity, by you know what I mean, by being a part of that religion or being Christian upon a whole, you are serving many idols. You understand? So that is the danger of Christianity to us, because you know what I mean, in one breath it pretends to be teaching you from the Bible about the God of the Bible, which is the one living and true God. But it, you know what I mean, enclosed in that religion is so many different gods. You know what I mean? It's like a Trojan horse. I get when I say, all right, so we're going to jump to the book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 3. We're going to read down to 5. You know what I mean? And it says, thou shalt have no other God before me. You know what I mean? Verse 4, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in earth beneath. You know what I mean? Or that is in the water under the earth. So the most High make you know say, don't have any other God before him. Zin, you celebrating New Year's Day is putting a God before him. You celebrating Christmas is you putting a God before him. You know what I mean? So you see that New Year resolution that you have, it will not come true, because you're celebrating idolatry, and the Most High is against it. So you know what gonna happen come New Year's, or so-called New Year's, the Most High gonna curse you even more. You know what I mean? Because the Most High is still in charge. Of course, the oppressor is ruling this earth, you know. The scripture said the earth, the world is given into the hand of the devil, you know. You know what I mean? Of the wicked, you know, which is the oppressor. But the Most High is still in charge of the children of Israel, where, you know what I mean, your blessing comes and your curse forward from. So if you disobey the Most High and serve the gods of the Eden, the Most High will punish you. And you might say, boy, it is so innocent. You know what I mean? Celebrating Christmas and New Year's Day is so innocent. It's fun. That is why you think it is innocent. You know what I mean? If something bad happened to you every New Year's Day, you would have never celebrated. But guess what? Every something bad happened after you celebrate it. After you celebrate it, the Most High curse you for breaking his laws and his statutes and his commandments. You know what I mean? His laws that tell you to have no other God before him. The Most High punish you for that. Verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, and to the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Right? So the Most High make you know, say, you know what I mean? He's a jealous God. You must not bow down yourself to these guys, because he's a jealous God. You know what I mean? By you celebrating New Year's Day is you telling Janus that Janus is the reason why you're alive, and Janus is the reason why you live to see a so-called New Year. The Most High have to be jealous of that, because the Most High know that he is the reason why you live to see even another day. So the Most High is jealous of that. How can you give, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Your what I call it now, your thanks to an idol that is not even real, that does not even exist, that is not alive. You know what I mean? And take away the glory from the Most High. Take away, you know what I mean? Taking away the Most High's, you know what I mean, credit for what he did. Keeping you alive. You know what I mean? Anybody would be, you know what I mean, jealous for that. You know what I mean? That even pass, you know what I mean, disrespectful. You know what I mean? So him say him will visit the iniquity of the father upon the children. What that mean? Mean you celebrate New Year's Day and Christmas, the Most High will visit it upon your children, upon to the third and the fourth generation. So even your great grandchildren are gonna feel the curses of you celebrating Christmas. You know what I mean? And then, you know what I mean, you see so much of our people, you know what I mean? The grandmother have to end up raising the grandchildren because the mother, you know what I mean, can't do it. You understand? And the curse continue and then become worse and worse, and the lifestyle of the children and the grandchildren become worse than how the grandmother had it. You understand? That is because the curse is being put upon the third and the fourth generation. The Most High is cursing you, you just can't see it. You can't tie it in together because of the Christian church, because the Christian church claim to be teaching you from the Bible, but they celebrate Janus. So you say it can't be wrong, but not knowing that the Christian church is wrong. And that we are trying to show you, say the Christian church wrong up. with all of these idolatry, them wrong, and the Most High is not with them. The Most High will punish them too. And you see the Most High punishing them. You understand? Except you see the riches of the pastor and don't know that the Most High is not with the pastor. You are the ones that are with the pastor. That's why the pastor seems like he's blessed and he's prospering, because you give him your money. It's not the Most High making him rich, it's you making him rich. So you see the money that you give the pastor, you see the pastor wearing your money, and you say, God is with him. No, you are the ones that are with him. God is not with him. You know what I mean? All right, let me jump to the book of Exodus now, see? And now you're going to know what is the real new year. See? So the Romans made it January, the middle of winter. You know what I mean? Which we know that, you know what I mean, the middle of winter cannot be the beginning of any year. But, you know what I mean, the beginning is always start with things being renewed. And we know that is within the spring. You know what I mean? That is within the month of March, April. That is the beginning of spring. You know what I mean? So we are going to show you what the Most High said was the beginning of the year. So this is the book of Exodus chapter 12, verse 2 to 6. And it says, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. You know what I mean? Verse 3, speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. Verse 4, and if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto it, his house take it according to the number of souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Verse 5, your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and ye shall keep it and slakia, and you shall keep it up unto the 4th day of the same month. And the whole assembly, slakia, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. This is talking about the Passover. The Passover is in the month, you know what I mean, the first within spring, you know what I mean, the beginning of spring, which falls between March and April. You understand? That is the new year. The Most High said that is the new year when the Passover is kept. You know what I mean? Just check on ISUPK.com and you will see when the Passover is. You understand? Check on the I.S.U.P.K pages and you will see when the Passover is. The Passover is not at the beginning of this, you know what I mean, wicked year, January, but it is within the month, you know what I mean, of March. Right? So the Most I tell you what the New Year's is. But the Roman give you another New Year's. You understand? And the Most I told you in the Bible that the oppressor would do these things, you know. See? The Most I tell you that the oppressor would try to change the times. You understand? You know what I mean? Not only did the oppressor change the image of the prophets and our King Yahushua, which the world call Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? Them change the image of him. Them also change times to confuse the children of Israel. So it is so difficult for you to come back to your customs. Because when you were in charge, you know what I mean? Everything was intact as, you know what I mean, according to how the Most High wanted it. But the oppressor, now being in charge, him change everything. You understand? Let me read the book of Daniel 7 and 25. This is what it says. And he shall speak great words against the Most High. You know what I mean? So the oppressor, him speak great words against the Most High. You know what I mean? Saying that, you know what I mean, the Most High love everybody and all them thing there. You know what I mean? Continue reading. And shall wear out the saints of the Most High. How did he wear out the saints? The saints are the children of Israel. You know what I mean? How did he wear out the saints? By putting us in slavery, in captivity, the oppression. You know what I mean? The stealing of our identity. Now we don't know who we are. You know what I mean? That wears us out. You know what I mean? So that is how the oppressor wears us out. Continue reading. And think to change times and laws. So the oppressor think to change times. What times? Slakia. What times? The oppressor changed the time of the new year. You understand? Change the time of the new year. That is changing times and laws, because we know that in the beginning of the first, like the 14th day of the first month is the Passover. You know what I mean? If you follow the oppressor, you would think that is the 14th month of January, 14th day. Slakia. In the beginning, Slakia, the 14th day of the first month is the Passover. If you follow the oppressor, you would think that it is the 14th day of January. And it is not. You know what I mean? The oppressor changed the time. So if you wanted to keep the Passover, you would fall on the wrong date anyway. You know what I mean? That's why we implore you to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments, and you know what I mean, and learn from the prophets in the I.S.U.P.K and the command in general, Anna, where you get back your custom. You know what I mean? We put you back in sync with the timeline of the Most High. You understand? Let me continue reading though. And they shall be given unto his given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of times. So we were given into the hand of the oppressor for a time, not forever, you know. So you see this wicked kingdom that gives you New Year's in the, you know what I mean, in the dead of winter, and give you the celebration of Janus, you know what I mean, idolatry, you know what I mean, and give you the celebration of Nimrod, you know what I mean, the 25th of December, and calling it Yahushai's birthday, when Yahushai never celebrated birthday, and the Bible is against celebrating birthday. See? You see, this kingdom, this oppressor, you know what I mean, ruling and doing that is just for a time. But this kingdom is going to fall eventually, and everything will go back as to, you know what I mean, the way the Most High wanted it. You understand? So, you know what I mean, just to break it down, you know what I mean, we open to listen, you know what I mean, we just want to take heed as to what we are teaching. The information is here, it's here, you know what I mean, just come to the I.S.U.P.K, we can inform you, you know what I mean, and we can make you know what go on. You know what I mean? And all these things work against you by celebrating these customs. You are not supposed to do that. It's not innocent. You get what I say? So in the, you know what I mean? You know the thing already. Like the video, leave in the comments. You know what I mean? Share as well. You know what I mean? Subscribe to the channel. You know what I mean? And with that, shalom.